Hi, I'm Allyson, and I'm going to be talking to you today about Erich Fromm's book, A Man for Himself. And I'm going to be reading to you from chapter 4 about selfishness, self-love, and self-interest. Modern culture is pervaded by the taboo of selfishness. We are taught that to be selfish is sinful, and that to love others is virtuous. To be sure of this doctrine is in flagrant contradiction to the practice of modern society, which holds the doctrine that the most powerful and legitimate drive in man is selfishness, and that by following this imperative drive that the individual makes his best contribution to the common good. But the doctrine which declares selfishness to be the arch-evil of love for others, to be the greatest virtue, is still powerful. Selfishness is used here as almost synonymously with self-love. The alternative to love others, which is a virtue, or to love oneself, which is a sin. This principle has found its classic expression in Calvin's theology, according to which man is essentially evil and powerless. Man can achieve absolutely nothing that is good on the basis that his own strength and merit. We are not our own, says Calvin, therefore neither our reason nor our will should predominate in our deliberations and actions. We are not our own, therefore let us not propose it as our end to seek what may be expedient for us according to the flesh. We are not our own, therefore let us as far as possible forget ourselves and all things that are ours. On the contrary, we are God's, for him, therefore let us live and die. For as the most devastating pestilence which ruined people if they obey themselves, it is only haven of salvation, not to know or to want anything by oneself, but to be guided by God who walks before us. Man should have not only the conviction of his absolute nothingness, but he should do everything to humiliate himself. For I do not call it humility if you suppose that we have anything left. We cannot think of ourselves as we ought to think without utterly despising everything that may be supposed an excellence in us. This humility is unfeigned submission of a mind overwhelmed with the weighty sense of our own misery and poverty. For such it is uniform description of it in the Word of God. So the emphasis on the nothingness and wickedness of the individual implies that there is nothing he should like and respect about himself. The doctrine is rooted in self-contempt and self-hatred. Calvin makes this point very clear. He speaks of self-love as a pest. If the individual finds something on the strength of which he finds pleasure in himself, he betrays the sinful self-love. This fondness for himself will make him sit in judgment over others and despise him. Therefore, to be fond of oneself, or to like anything in oneself, is one of the greatest sins. It is supposed to exclude love for others and be identical with selfishness. So I guess my question on all of this is, if we can't love ourselves, how can we love others? Because I just don't think it makes sense that, man is selfish. We are selfish, and saying that it's a sin isn't going to change that. It's really just going to turn into the self-hate, and I really just think you need to love yourself. And it's not being selfish. That's just one way of looking at it. It's loving yourself, and I think that's something that's really important. So, thanks for listening.